There's a specific kind of loneliness that comes not from being alone, but from standing in a room full of your own thoughts and feeling like a stranger among them. You've made the decision. You've chosen the path. But even as you walk it, there's a voice, quiet, persistent, relentless, that whispers, "What if you're wrong?" And so you stop. You turn around. You ask someone else. Anyone else. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that your own mind is the least reliable place to find the truth. You're standing in front of two shirts, and you can't decide which one to wear. Not because you don't have a preference, but because the moment you choose, doubt floods in like water through a crack. What if this one makes me look careless? What if that one seems like I'm trying too hard? So you text a friend. You ask for their opinion. And when they respond, you feel a momentary relief because now the decision isn't yours anymore. But the relief doesn't last. Because tomorrow, there will be another choice. Another moment where your own voice isn't enough. Another time when you, look at yourself in the mirror of your mind and see nothing reflected back but uncertainty. Some people lose trust in others. But you've lost trust in the one person you can never escape, yourself. And that is a different kind of imprisonment. This didn't begin with you. It began in a childhood where your feelings were questioned before they were heard. Where you said, "I'm cold," and someone replied, "No, you're not." Where you said, "That hurt me," and the answer was, "You're too sensitive." It began in a home where love was conditional on correctness. Where being wrong wasn't just a mistake, it was proof that you were less. Where your choices were met not with guidance, but with judgment sharp enough to cut. So you learned. You learned that your instincts were faulty, that your emotions were exaggerations, that the compass inside you didn't point north, it pointed nowhere. And when the world tells you often enough that you can't trust yourself, eventually you believe it. You stop consulting your own heart. You stop listening to your own mind. You become a passenger in your own life, waiting for someone else to tell you where to go. And the saddest part? You don't even realize you're lost. Psychologists call this decision-making paralysis, rooted in a phenomenon known as chronic self-doubt. When a child's perceptions are repeatedly invalidated, their brain begins to develop what is known as an external locus of control, the belief that outcomes are determined by outside forces rather than internal ones. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for judgment and decision-making, becomes underactive in moments of choice. Instead, the amygdala, the fear center, takes over. Every decision becomes a threat, because to decide is to risk being wrong. And to be wrong is to confirm the belief you've carried since childhood that you are not enough. Studies show that individuals with low self-trust exhibit higher levels of cortisol during decision-making tasks. Their brains treat choices the way others treat danger. The body tenses, the breath shortens, the mind scrambles for an exit. And so they do what feels safest. They defer. They ask. They delay. But the cost is invisible and cumulative. Because every time you hand your power to someone else, you lose a little more of yourself. And yet, deep down, you know that no one else lives inside your skin. That no one else feels what you feel, sees what you see, carries what you carry. You know that the people you ask, no matter how wise, how kind, how well-meaning, can only ever offer answers shaped by their lives, not yours. But knowing this doesn't make it easier, because trusting yourself feels like stepping onto ice you're certain will crack. It feels reckless, dangerous, like arrogance disguised as confidence. And so you stay stuck. You ask your partner what you should eat. You ask your friend if you should take the job. You ask strangers on the internet if your feelings are valid. And when their answers don't quiet the storm inside you, you ask again, and again, and again. Because you're not really looking for advice. You're looking for permission to believe in yourself. But permission is something no one else can give. The shift doesn't come all at once. It comes in a moment so small you almost miss it. You're sitting alone. There's a question in front of you, a choice that needs to be made. And for once, there's no one to ask. No phone nearby. No voice to drown out your own. And in that silence, something stirs, a whisper. Faint, but unmistakable. You already know. and you realize you've always known. You knew which shirt you wanted to wear. You knew whether the relationship was right. You knew if the job felt aligned or just safe, you knew. But you were so terrified of being wrong that you convinced yourself you didn't. And in that moment, the question changes. It's no longer, what if I'm wrong? It becomes, what if I'm right? And I've been ignoring myself all along. Trusting yourself is not a switch you flip. It's a muscle you rebuild. It starts with the smallest decisions. The ones that feel inconsequential. What to eat, what to wear, what to watch. You practice choosing without asking. You practice sitting with the discomfort of not knowing if you're right. You practice letting the doubt exist without letting it decide for you. And slowly something shifts. You start to notice that most of your choices don't lead to disaster, that even when you're wrong, you survive. That your judgment, imperfect as it is still yours, and that alone makes it valuable. You begin to see that the people you've been asking don't have access to some hidden truth you lack. They're just guessing too. They're just choosing and hoping and figuring it out as they go. Just like you. And you realize self-trust isn't about being right all the time. It's about being willing to belong to yourself even when you're not. There will still be days when doubt whispers louder than clarity, days when you second guess, when you falter, when you wish someone else could just tell you what to do. And that's okay, because healing isn't linear, and self-trust isn't perfection. But now, when the doubt comes, you'll know something you didn't before, that your judgment, flawed, uncertain, human, is not your enemy. It's the voice that's been trying to guide you home all along. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to start listening, because the person you've been searching for, the one who knows what's right for you, they've been here the whole time, waiting, quietly, inside you. If this story touched something inside you, if you've ever felt like a stranger to your own judgment, you're not alone. Subscribe to this channel for more deep psychological insights that help you understand yourself better. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that might change how you see yourself. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is one decision you've been afraid to trust yourself with? Let's talk about it. You might be surprised. How many people are walking the same path? Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for trusting yourself enough to press play. Until next time, be gentle with yourself.